Hey there folks, and welcome back to the Taulantia Campaign. Last time, we launched our second invasion of Oxwayoya and their little alliance network here in the mountains, and we are working now on Pekina after a very successful invasion from the west through Dalmatia and Dityonia into Oxwayoya, and we have repelled them with a fairly large and kind of costly battle, but ultimately we have knocked them back over here. They are working on sieging down Dardania, and we look to be in a pretty good state altogether. So let's go ahead and resume. Yeah, not much to do here, just gotta wait and get through the siege. I don't believe I have attrition beyond siege attrition, so given I'm already at fully capped at manpower, I don't see any reason to split my army up, just keep them together for safety. Divine response. The ceremony to appease the gods continued for several days until finally we got the response we were hoping for. Was I trying to appease the gods? Probably should have rewatched the previous episode to see what that's about. It seems Apollo has been appeased by our actions and has intervened on behalf of Glaucius to make sure he will continue ruling in the light of the gods. Great news. So we get some legitimacy for our nation. That's pretty good. That'll bring us back up to 100. And Glaucius personally gets some popularity. His popularity is oddly fallen quite quickly. I don't know exactly what the issue here is. It seems to just be gradual and general decay that is kind of taking its effect over time. That's okay. I don't think we're in danger from this in any specific sense. I may think that over, but probably it's going to be fine. White peace is imminent. I'm not too worried about that. We probably still have enough time to at least get the siege into Pekina and work on the siege in Rossetia. Getting the Armistian holdings... Also, these guys are just standing here now. Did their AI just completely break? They're just literally standing there. Okay. Not sure what that's about. Now that we're out of food, I believe... Yeah, we're at 10 weight. So actually, switching to Pan might have helped out there, because 10 weight is low enough that we're not taking attrition standing all together in the mountains with Dardanians hanging out here with us. So glad I switched over like that. Also going to start working on my next claim pretty soon to follow up on the Chersos claim. But we're going to get a lot of land from this deal. And I may take a little break before the Chersos War just to recover my manpower and my war exhaustion. My war exhaustion is creeping up now. Alright, the siege is going pretty good. Okay, now they're moving around. I think they were waiting for the Dalmatian forces to join them. That's fine. I don't care if they siege down all of Dardania. I've got my mountain forts blocking the way. Actually, now that I think about it, the Lebeatin passageway is technically a backdoor into my land. They could get to Epidomnos through that, which I should keep an eye on, but probably not going to be imperiled by that. I guess we'll see. I don't know if the AI looks at unsettled terrain like that with that strategic eye. And they're distracted still by Dardanian land, of course. War exhaustion is getting high. Yeah, when this pops up here, you know that it's starting to become an issue. I think I may need to actually invoke Dewodio here. I was trying to avoid that. We're so close to the end of the war. But we're going to need to have invoke Dewodio even during peacetime, I think, at this point, because this is mounted up quite a bit. Yeah, each levy is now presenting plus 0.10 war exhaustion by itself. Okay, let's go for it. We've reset our extra cost here, so it's not going to be super expensive. Just to tyranny. Let's go for that. That's actually not gonna do much right now. It's gonna slow it down a little bit. I really want to get Armistia out of this war. Or get Armistia out of this game, I should really say. Just to get this territory for myself. Alright, Siege of Pekina is 1. Good. Now the question is, do I work on Rossetia? In terms of the strategic situation, I should be fine to do this. I don't think they can dislodge me. The question is, domestically, am I fine to do this? My war exhaustion is mounting, and I'm getting a little nervous about this. This is definitely around the point where I should be looking to cut things off and call it a day. But I also have worked so hard for the last couple years on Armistia, and getting control of this passageway through the mountains is so strategically important. I think it is worth a bit of war exhaustion. I'm going to take a break after this war anyways, so we're going to go for it. I may also need this I may need this what's it called, war score anyways, because they do have occupied land that I have to weigh against. So let's go for it. May as well just push all the way through. Now, also, I should note that because Armistia isn't in Illyria, I won't be able to fight them for free when I get my Illyrian claims, so got to keep that in mind as well. This is my chance to get this bit of land that is helpful for my Illyrian ambitions. Right, Rossetti is under siege. I'm actually kind of tempted to just assault, especially if I get a breach, because my manpower is already completely depleted. And once since I'll be taking a bit of peacetime to recover manpower, losing manpower in the army shouldn't be an issue because I can just re-raise the army from my manpower reserves anyways. I think we'll hold off. If we get a breach, I think I might go for an assault, but I won't go for it without a breach. That'd be too greedy for me. Plot. Whispers in the dark. The greatest threat to any nation comes not from without, but from within. The constant infighting between those who would name themselves heir can consume countless resources and lives. Our spies at the court are certain that Pleritas, a man who has made no secret of his ambitions for the throne, is plotting to ensure his future by doing away with the competition. We should keep a watchful eye on Pleritas. Looks like he is plotting against his elder brother Taulus. Honestly, I wouldn't be super upset if Pleritas did somehow become the heir. He and Taulus are basically equally competent, and I noticed Pleritas actually has children, unlike Taulus, despite Taulus having plenty of time with his wonderful lady to get to it. I also gave Pleritas a really good wife. She's got phenomenal charisma, good martial, and so he'd basically bring some strong charisma to the throne if he did become the leader. Let's see here. I could get some loyalty with him, or what would this do? This would probably stop him. I'm actually going to not stop him because I'm kind of curious to see where this goes. I think because Pleritas and Taulus are basically equally competent to be the king, and Pleritas is actually a bit better positioned with his current arrangement of children and whatnot. Yeah, he's rivals with Taulus. That does add up. Let's put more faith in him. We'll see what happens with that. Yeah, looks like they're going to go work on Grabion. That's fine. Grabion's got its full garrison again. They are welcome to try if they so desire, but don't think they're going to get very far. I'll probably win that siege race. And even if I don't win the siege race, that I should still be able to get the full annexation out of this war either way. Alright, plot meeting of the minds. Pleritas has been spending increasing quantities of time with another petty claimant to our throne, Siras. These two are natural enemies, so it might be wise to be particularly careful with this developing situation. Unfortunately, we are unable to acquire much information on what the two conspirators were discussing. Yeah, because I didn't set up some sort of sting. I declined to do that. Okay. I'm going to say troubling. It looks like this plot really is going to go somewhere, so let's see where this goes. Some fratricide to end off this time of great conflict. Our fortress is under siege at Grabion. That's totally fine. They started at 28%, though. Not sure what that's about. I know I'm out of food. Fully aware of that. Tristan is still fine, though. 1% is acceptable. Alright, Dardania is trying to catch them in a fight down here. They are welcome to get that going if they can. Yeah, I'm not going to take huge wars like this in the early game normally. I just, I mean, you saw what I was facing when it came to Oxford OA. They just built such a dense alliance network. I kind of had to go for something this all-encompassing. Infighting! The two dastardly claimants to the throne of Taulantia, who have been plotting together to cause all manner of chaos, have seemingly fallen foul of one another. So much so, it seems, that Pleritas is reportedly marching a band of hired thugs to the dwelling place of Siras at this very moment. If we wish to intercede, now would be the time. What is going on in this family? Not only are all my characters incompetent skill-wise, but they're fighting with each other. Where's the brotherly love, I ask? Okay, well, is Siros a better claimant than Taulis or Pluritas? Siros is also fine. He's got the exact same traits. Actually, no, he has slightly different traits now. He actually has worse skills than Pluritas. He also only has one daughter, so that's a bit less secure, because Pluritas has at least one son. And I think I'm still on Agnatic Primogenitor. Yeah, I need to change this. I actually think I might use my next bit of political influence once I have it to change over to Agnatic Cognatic. I really dislike Agnatic Primogenitor. Agnatic Cognatic is just flatly better than Agnatic Primogenitor in every sense. There's no circumstance where this is worse than this one. So we'll change that over. But either way, let's try and stop some sort of fight here. All right, but we should step in. Actually, no, I don't want to use the political influence. You know what? Let's let the gods decide this one. If they want to fight, we'll let them fight. I want to change the law. Okay, this siege is going to take a long time. I can already tell. This is one of those situations. Ugh. Here we go. As usual, more trouble for me. Yeah, I'm going to wait and spend that on the law change. Finally. Oh, we got a breach. Okay, here we are. This is what I was looking for. This will be a very expensive assault, but I just want to get this war over with. Because at this point, what I'm thinking here is I'm going to trade manpower for war exhaustion. I could do the fight here and get a quick end of the war, a quicker end of the war, and save myself from probably several points of war exhaustion. Or stand here, take attrition anyways, and ultimately the manpower I lose, I'm already completely out of manpower, so I need to recover the manpower in peacetime anyways. So let's go ahead and just go for the assault. We have Dardanians here to help us out too. Let's actually wait till these guys arrive on the 3rd of September for some extra bodies in this assault. And we'll go for that. I also just don't want them to get Raban. It's some sort of crazy lucky set of siege ticks, yeah. Because that's... Oh, okay, Dardania's not going to do it. Alright, let's assault. Let's get this over with. Plow through our manpower. It's fine. We're already completely out, so at this point, I'm just going to completely use the rest of it on this assault. Get Rosetia under my control. And then give these a couple days to fall to our hold. And then we'll call it there with a total victory. There we go, 99%. That's going to be totally fine. Let's go ahead and get this peace deal going. So this will be a fairly large peace deal, and I think I'm just going to take everything. I think I've fought for everything. I could have taken the Burkaean peace deal earlier with the war score I had, so for the cost that I've put in here, we're going to take what's due to us from this complicated network of... one moment. This is up here in... Duria, which is in Illyrian province, so I will take that as well. I hate when the UI gets switched back like that. Grab that. Okay, grab this. And then what I'm going to do, as I said before, I'm going to make Malwesia the location of an Armistian tribal vassal sort of puppet state. And checking again that that is in fact... Yeah, of course, it's in Dindarius, so it's in the same spot. So, again, I'm taking Soestum and Rosetia just to have the strategic advantage of controlling this mountain passageway, not because I want this territory for territory control purposes, or sort of territory development purposes. Alright, and you give me not that, and then you become my subject in Malwesia. Let me see if I can do this correctly. I think Tribal Vassals is the one that I want. Feudatory I could integrate later, but I can always just break the Tribal Vassal relationship like I did in Episode 1 and then just fight them. So the trade-off, the distinction would be what if I prefer the bonuses of Feudatory compared... I guess I should actually look at all three, so... Tributary would pay me in money. It says 0.33, but that's probably based on their current size. I don't know if they pay me less if they just have one territory. And if they pay me less than 0.33, I'd rather honestly get the bonus from Feudatory or Tribal Vassal. Each of these pay me in 1 manpower, which is actually probably more important than 0.33 anyways, and it'd probably be less than 0.33. They have limits on their diplomacy. I protect them. It's totally fine. They also They also literally serve as sort of a shield north of me, for what that's worth. Feudatory gives me Legion maintenance cost, which is not going to do anything for me right now. And it also gives me National Citizen Happiness minus 4%. That's a hard no. This one is much better. National Tribesman Happiness, 4%. I still have a lot of tribesmen in my nation. And I give them some civ level bonuses as well. Let's do this. It looks like it does actually give them back their land if I do it like this. Is that so? Hold on. It says this goes to me, but then it also overlays it with the Armistia tribal vassal thing. I don't know. You see what I'm saying here, right? It looks as though both of these deals are coexisting, and that shouldn't really be possible. I think this will give the land to me. Oh, wait, it says not possible with the other treaties selected. I think I'll just leave Armistia up in Malwisi then. Well, no, I guess Malwisi is technically part of a province I already have a presence in. Maybe I should just take Malwisia. I think I'll just take Malwisia at this point. I don't really want to mess around with giving this land back to Armistia by accident. And I do want to take this land because I've worked so hard to get it. If I was just going to leave Armistia out of this peace deal, I wouldn't have spent all this manpower and time working on Rosetia. So let's go ahead and... Hold on. Let's do it like that. Yeah, let's reset, make sure I get this correctly. Super peace. We'll just take everything. I also don't want Armistia's tag to survive the war, because I don't know if that will cause me trouble. No. Shoot. Okay, hold on. Stupid. I don't know if that may cause me trouble in some fashion. Okay. This will be a full annexation of 4 belligerents, and we're about to get very big, and I mean that in a number of ways. I do love me a good peace deal. Okay, so we're going to get 27 aggressive expansion. Holy moly. Well, I guess it's good that we're at 0 at the moment. We'll finally be out of the war, and this will be Glaucius's great triumph over his rivals in the mountains here. Alright, let's go ahead and click this button, and things are about to change quite a bit for little old Taulantia. Alright, so we have a lot of elites to concern ourselves with, but first things first. The Illyrian local power of Oxwyoia accepts their generous peace offer. Dalmatian Liburnia to Taulantia, Dalmatian Dacia to Taulantia, Dalmatian Dalmatia to Taulantia, Ditionian Dalmatia to Taulantia, Ditioni Liburnia to Taulantia, Ditioni Duria to Taulantia, Oxwyoi Dalmatia to Taulantia, Oxwyoi Dacia to Taulantia, and Armistian Dindaria to Taulantia. Holy moly. Okay, so let's go ahead and put those who are not of class to the sword, lose that aggressive expansion. I don't think there's any reason to do anything else here. Alright, look at that. Big Taulantia has been achieved. Love that. We actually have very nice solid borders as well, and we are now very clearly the Illyrian, the claimant to the Illyrian throne at this point. In fact, the fact that we're going to be fighting the Greek city-states next will actually clean up our borders very naturally, which I am quite happy with. Alright, let's let one day go by, just for things to update, and let's go ahead and lower our military, disband our levies. They can go home, finally, and we'll start working on reducing our war exhaustion. I think that the war against, because technically the war against Chersos will be ready soon, but I can delay a bit. I want to get my war exhaustion and manpower addressed, maybe give it a couple years. I think on the 1st of October of 65, I'll take a look and see how we're doing on the recovery, and that'll be a natural point to decide, okay, do we proceed or not? So now a lot of stuff has changed. We have to now address all of this new territory. It's actually kind of hard to tell which is the new territory because it was our previous territory was so spread around it already. So let's start over here. So in Dindaria, our great martial guy who's now has some gray in his hair. I would too if I was in that war. It's still on civ level. I think I might want to drop this down to local autonomy. I guess I'll have to delay the law change. That's probably fine. I'd rather do these policies first. Let's drop this down to local autonomy. That will start to stabilize things, and we'll bump it back up to cultural assimilation if things do improve. Now, as our war exhaustion does go down, this will also improve as well. So that should be fine. Now, do I keep the fort in Grabion? I don't know if I do. I always plan for this to be a temporary fort, and I think what I might do is actually just have the fort in Resetia be my fort, and actually keep the capital there as well. Mostly because Resetia actually protects Grabion anyways, because someone entering from Arzia gets trapped in Resetia, and someone entering from the north has to go through Resetia. So let's go ahead and actually save some money, and also, for the first time in a very long time, lower the maintenance. Also, holy moly. Yeah, that's our tax base at work there. Lower the fort maintenance too, and yeah, we gotta address this. The next couple years are going to be about fixing our economy. This was a very, very big annexation, and probably not something I don't know if this was the right call to do during the early game with my strategy. I guess, to be fair, getting a huge annexation like this in the early game is definitely pretty fun, and I'm playing this game to have fun. So at the end of the day, my strategies are enjoyable to feel committed to, but this was an opportunity to get a nice bit of territory, and it puts us in a very good position to then push forward into the Illyrian decision. We're not that far away from it now. We only need 3 more territories: Corican, Clondate, and Segestica. And we can get Corican next, because Chersos, of course, controls it. So we're very close. In fact, are you allied with Duaria? Yeah, these two usually ally each other. So we're only a few, probably by 70, we'll be in position to form Illyria, which feels pretty great, because that's actually ahead of time, I think, from where I was the Taulantia campaign for forming Britannia. I think I didn't form Britannia before 470. I think it was after that. I don't remember because I have to recheck my old videos, but feels like we're keeping a good pace here with our careful strategy. And we started off in a harder position than the Akenia started off in. Anyways, let's go ahead and come back over here. So, fort's gone. What do we have here? Provincial legation. Pop assimilation speed. These are actually pretty handy for my pop assimilation goals, but I'd rather have the money, honestly, from that. I don't need that in Sewastum. Up here, we've got a mine. Ooh, we can actually maybe get some... What do we have here? Precious metals? Heck yeah. Can we move some slaves over here? Not very easily, just from Grabion. Yeah, because we can't... Yeah, it'll be hard to move slaves up here. That's fine. And I will just keep Malwesia unfortified, because Resetia protects it. And if Malwesia gets occupied by somebody, that's fine. All these mountainous... Now all this rough mountainous terrain is going to serve me, which is great. Leusaba, I could fortify this, but that's an expensive fort to build. Not that it's actually more expensive than any other fort. I won't fortify it yet. I may fortify it ahead of the war against Duaria, or I may just roll the dice and not fortify it, because this won't be a fort location long term, and it's a lot of money to build a fort. Splounon will stay fortified, for the reasons I talked about before. Did I look at the territory over here? I think I did. It moved the stupid capital, though, against my wishes, which is irritating. I'll have to move it back. Hate when the game does that, but, you know, what can you do? Yeah, farming settlement. I don't think I looked at this one over here, so let's check through here. Yeah, this all looks fine. Let's move the, let's see here. Yeah, let's have Nerona stay the long-term location, because it lines up with Trigorian super well, which is just a nice coincidence. So let's move the capital back over to Inona. That's going to be our permanent Liburnia capital. I don't think any of this territory up here would be better anyways, so that is fine. Can I set up a colony, actually, in Inona for the Liburnians? Where do the Liburnians live? They're just over here, so probably. Let's go ahead and get that set up now. I probably could have done this after the previous war, but now I'm thinking about it. Kisa? Kisa? No. Oh, that was the former capital a moment ago. Probably after the monthly tick it'll get updated. We'll revisit that in a moment. Any other colonies to set up? Possibly a colony for the Dere Mestians. I didn't even know who those guys were. Maybe in Resetia? I'd be fine with that. Well, I don't think there's any better location around here. I don't know if Resedia would ever be a city. I guess it is not mountain terrain. I'm not going to worry about setting up a capital for them, actually. Okay, back to city management. After so many episodes of conflict, I finally get to do some city management. Or some, not city management, but economic management. Always nice. Destroy some of these buildings. Not going to need these. We're just doing this province by province. Farming settlement is fine. We'll move slaves here someday when we have slaves to move around. We'll keep that there too. Tribal settlement, don't need that. These some of these settlement buildings could be quite handy, but keeping in mind what these do is they're just modifiers on the actual settlement tile, and unless the modifier is very important, such as in the future, farming settlements and mines let you produce multiple copies of resources. Almost every other thing, so basically forts, mines, farming settlements, and ports are the only settlement buildings that I tend to think are worth it. Slave estates might be good in the late game, but generally this is just a huge money sink, and it's better to just not mess around with building settlement upgrades unless you really, really, really know what you're doing. It's just a huge amount of money. That's why forts are so important, because forts create a very serious strategic effect. Now, the fort in Luisinian, I may now abandon and just have the fort be, honestly, in Resedia. Now that Resedia is mine, the Pekina and Luisinian forts don't feel super critical. These mountain passes may not actually be the best defensive terrain for me, given how many cavalry are in my army, thanks to having a Lyrian army structure. So even though this might still be a good defensive location in the future, I don't need this many internal forts. I'm going to try to keep the forts more on the external side of my nation here. And in fact, the Splaunon fort actually still protects this passageway, because they enter through Lusaba into Baloi. They then get trapped in the Splaunon zone of control, so we actually are fully protected at the north with just these two forts. And I think Pekina, despite being a very important location to keep in control of, if Resedia falls, I'm already in trouble. So I'm going to abandon the Pekina fort as well. I can always rebuild it later if the need arises. Okay, I think the Delminian fort can probably go too. Nerona and Tregorian control my coastline totally fine, so let's go ahead and abandon that. Alright. And now let's finally get down into the really good stuff down here. Let's take a look now. Alright, we had this before. This is all fine. Alright, so now into the new stuff. So we've got, let's see here, that's fine. Did we already look at this? I guess we did look at this already. Yeah, we already looked at this. Okay, so in terms of the fort and provincial capital locations, Inona, Tregorian, and Nerona are the obvious locations to have it along the coast. These are all coastal farmland settlements, which I love. They're all now my provincial capitals, which is phenomenal. And they all line up with each other perfectly, so which I like as well. This is just my little OCD thing that I love. If I go over to fort, you can see here, the hash is, I mean, it needs to, actually, let me wait a month for it to update, and then I'll show you, because once it updates after the monthly tick, you'll see how it lines up perfectly. Basically, Inona controls Assyria, and Skardon is controlled by Tregorian, Salinai controlled by Tregorian, IDC is controlled by Nerona, and Nerona will eventually also extend to Epidaurs. I'm going to destroy the city, because this is a hill tile, and I don't want there to be a city there. In fact, I think I can build a farming... Actually, I don't know if farming settlements work on salt. Don't recall that. But I'm going to keep Ascribian, I think, because Ascribian lines up with Nerona, and it also lines up with Epidomnos, and it will eventually also... I think once I build the city of Lissos, and I build a fort there, I might then abandon the Ascribian fort, but for now... Ascribian is an important internal fort to keep, because it protects the entrance into my Taulantian core. And I guess it also protects, yeah, because my Taulantian core includes this. So that's the approach I'll do there. Alright. I think that all looks fine. I think I'm going to be able to sell a bunch of resources in a moment, because I got a bunch of extra copies from my... Yeah, I've got tons of stuff to sell. Holy moly. Alright, let's let the monthly tick go by. We'll get our Chersos claim there. We'll sell some wood to the Veneto. Sure. Anyone else I should sell to? I think Veneto is fine. What do we have here? Seculia, I'll sell you. Some vegetables. Lingonia, sure, I'll sell you. Sell to the Italian Gauls. Want some wood? Alright. Happy to do that. All right, got the Casus Belli. And it's also coincidentally in October, so we can do our little review now. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'll show you now that things have updated. Fort-wise, here's the new fort zone of control situation. So I think I've learned from the Taulantia campaign that fort spam all over the place is just a huge expense until you have a huge economy to really allow for it. You can see as well, just from the trade, our -3 a month or whatever is now fully, or now, I guess it's 1.87. This will improve as well as we proceed. I'm going for more of a minimalist fort approach in this game, where I'm only going to have the forts probably externally, and not worry so much about internal fort coverage. Because that's something in my Taulantia campaign I really got caught up in, because it's fun to get your fort coverage to line up. But at the end of the day, if I have people inside my fort ring, inside my nation, I'm already in trouble. That's the idea. And now that my nation has a more cohesive shape, and these mountains are presenting a lot of natural protection, I feel a bit more confident in this approach. So the forts that I have are fully protecting my coastline and all the entrances via the land route, so that's pretty good. Now, another question is, do I actually maintain my Dardanian alliance at this point? I think now is actually the time I will politely end this alliance. They've served me very well, and I don't plan to fight them anytime soon, but they now are very much not bordering anybody that I'm going to be fighting in my future. I'll be fighting the Greek city-states, and then also big Latobikia and Duaria. Probably also Iapodia somehow. They don't have any land that I need at this point, but they'll probably get involved in some fashion. I guess they do. They're friends with Istria. We'll fight these guys once I have the claims from forming Illyria anyways. So I think that because of that, now that some nations have conquered other nations around me, I might actually ally Cotinia next. They are probably a good replacement for Dardania for my northern war. They're also allied to Ereviskia, so their north is secure. They're bordering this sort of interesting Imperator Rome wasteland thing that is happening up here in kind of Pannonia. I don't know why this area isn't settled at this time. And to my understanding, this is a very fertile area of the world, so I don't really know why in this time period no one's living over here, but it means that Cotinia is less likely to drag us into some sort of war, because who would attack them? I guess Erkriniadia might attack Ereviskia or Cotina to get out of its little pocket here. We'll see what happens with that, but I'm not as nervous about being called in defensively. That shouldn't be a huge problem. I also don't need to actually do anything in that circumstance. I can just agree to enter the war and then just hang out behind my mountains. Essentially, anyone who might attack me from the north is going to have real trouble because of my phenomenal terrain. And this, again, this is the whole point of playing an Illyria game, or it's one of the points of playing an Illyria game. I just have been so bamboozled by rough terrain for my previous campaign. It's so nice this time to have the rough terrain be on my side, you know, and trying to build around it and use it instead of trying to fight against it. So I'm really trying to lean into the Illyria mindset. Now, I think I will invoke Dewodio a second time. I want to get this war exhaustion ticking down, and it's not gonna go quick without that army attrition being addressed. So let's go ahead and invoke Dewodio again. I'd rather trade war exhaustion for tyranny at this time. In fact, I'm actually thinking about doing it one more time. Ooh, do I dare? I think I do dare. I think I do, because basically I'm now waiting to progress my decision wars until my war exhaustion is diminished. It doesn't need to be 0, but I just need to be further down than that. And tyranny, I can avoid tyranny with just some careful play. I don't have any loyalty issues at the moment. That's what high tyranny creates a problem with. So, okay, I think all that looks fine. Let's also take a quick look and see. I've already done my government overhaul. I think Laukes is probably not going to live to see the forming of Illyria. I think this war may have delayed things a little too long. Maybe he will. Maybe he'll live to be in his 80s. But if he does happen to die before we hit the button, that's okay. He's definitely been the main party who's led to this point. At this point, we've got the momentum and we've got the size to progress into forming Illyria. I guess I should also take a look at my provinces here. I just conquered lots of more territory and provinces I already had a presence in for the most part, so that's not going to be a huge issue. Yeah, they're all actually happy at the moment. Even Duaria, which was on the fence. I guess it's on the fence because of local autonomy, so that's fine. We'll convert people over. Empress is finally starting to settle down, so that's pretty good to see. Dendaria is furious, but that's fine. Okay, that all looks good. Let's go ahead and resume and see where things go. New manpower max is 24k, and that's 24k. Holy moly, 2.4k. I wish it was 24k, and that's just because of those assimilations and converting people to Taulantian, which is happening across the nation in small extents. You can see little Taulantian pockets here and there. I guess this is a colony, to be fair, so that's why that's there. All right, things are starting to look a little bit better. Yeah, the army attrition thing settled out, so now it's going down real quick. Totally fine. I think that for October 1st of 465, when I do my next Omen cycle, is the right time to launch into the war against, technically it's against Chersos, but it's mostly going to involve fighting, sieging down Epidwarm and working on, what's it called? Pharos, not Parsos. I also want to get a city built over here, mostly just to have a port over in this area. Military access from Macedon. That's not going to save you, Macedon. I'm sorry to tell you, things are just looking real bad for you. Also, Antigonids had their succession, but they didn't... Oh, they did break apart. Oh, boy. Oh, I don't like that at all. Okay, so they did break apart, just not over here. So I was kind of thinking they might fracture in their Greek holdings, but I guess not. So now I need to be a bit more careful about Antigonids, because they're now a long-term permanent neighbor for me. I guess Macedon's in the way, to be fair. We now definitely are more powerful than Macedon, which is a very strange thing to say out loud, but it's true. Actually, we have a ton of Dalmatians in our land. Holy moly. I guess that makes sense. Dalmatian is a really, really populous culture at the start of the game for the Illyrians. Oh, I should probably also actually end my alliance with Dardania before I forget. Alright, we broke our alliance with Dardania. That's totally fine. I'm not going to form a new alliance quite yet. I'll form it before the Northern War, but probably just before. I don't need to be in an alliance defensively right now. We also shouldn't forget about Apollonia and Epirus. We still have our Epirate claims, and it looks like Pyros isn't coming back. This guy is still in charge. So Epirus is still a fairly good target, but I still want to form Illyria first before I turn south and finish getting places like Apollonia and moving into Epirus. Because, of course, we have Matter of Greece, which we need to progress through. But I just want to form Illyria first, as I've said before. 20 manpower, that's pretty good. It would have been nice to have Malwesia / Armistia be my tribal vassal, but it is what it is. I wasn't about to accidentally give them back all the land I just sieged down at great cost for no reason. So, happy with that. Getia is going crazy, by the way. They're annexing so much land. Getia usually does pretty well. They've got a lot of weak neighbors, and they've got a big population. So they tend to do quite well. I could go after Macedon kind of opportunistically, once I have the manpower, of course. I obviously can't do it right now. And I could also use my money for something. Is it 35 or 30? Hold on. It's 35. Okay, we'll wait. I think I'm gonna save my money though. Oh no, barbarians. Oh jeez. Okay, here we go. I probably need to hire mercenaries to fight off these barbarians because I don't have the manpower to actually raise an army. I also have to wait a long time to raise my army. Actually, I might be able to raise my army with. I guess we'll see. Actually, because I can raise the army in Rossettia and fight them away. What? My king, the Hellenistic local power of Macedon, for military access. We do not want their unworthy boot soiling our realm. What is this message trying to communicate? Does anybody know what this is trying to say? Military access. What? What? Did I give them I thought I didn't give them military access. Yeah, right? I guess it declined military access automatically. I don't know what's going on with that. Either way, we don't have military access with them, so that's fine. Okay. Very strange. I should probably deal with this. Let's raise the army in Bikina so they're not going to get stack wiped by the barbs. Well, I can't, right? 2 months. That's fine. Maybe they'll leave. which would be great. And the fort will re-siege back Malesia if they don't leave, or if they do leave. If they don't leave, it won't siege it back. Also, I guess they're also just going to use up all their people in, because when this is something that if you didn't watch my previous campaign, you may not know how this works. When barbarians siege down land, they actually add their men to the land as population, which I'm fine with. Heck yeah. I'd love for the barbarians to join my nation. Totally fine with me. Are they going to go for Resetia? They're actually not going to be... Actually, I don't remember. They have this weird thing with forts where they're allowed to... Actually, no. What will happen is because my fort is on low maintenance, it won't do anything, which I'm now realizing. Actually, that's fine. If they just use up all their people sieging down Resetia, I guess they may not be allowed to because they have too few people, so we're actually totally fine. Let's go ahead and lower this again. If they just want to stand here forever, I'll let them. No big deal. We've got other things to worry about. I should also get an actual admiral ahead of the war against the Greek city-states, because this one I'm actually going to need to use my navy for in some form or another. Iritos Strabinid looks like a pretty solid person here. Let's see, anyone else? Morale of Navy is minus 5%. Not that guy. That guy's, this is too low. Let's have Iritos. I may as well just assign him now while I'm thinking about it. This guy's got really bad stats for anything except for a military commission, so we'll put him in charge. Get the Strabinids to be grateful as well, which is handy. How much am I going to pay him here? Let's find out how much this is going to cost me. Only 0.05 per month, so that's the reason I didn't want to have an admiral before. You actually pay the admiral while they're in their fleet, if they are assigned. Essentially, you pay their commission. That's okay. That's acceptable. All right. We're still at decreased pay. That's correct. Minor addendum. Labios Strabinid has suggested a small addendum to our often referenced law pertaining to the rights of the common folk. It should only be a small effort to push this through the court. Okay. Ooh. I think I will take this, despite being at the right stability to do a law change. Or at the right political influence, because I'm gaining political influence just fine, and the extra stability will help the rest of my recovery efforts. So, happily going to take that. Totally good with me. Iapodia is fighting Latovikia. If Latovikia actually annexes Iapodia, that actually saves me some trouble, because this is one more nation I'd need to get a claim on to fight. So, kind of hoping for a Latovikian victory. Plus, it makes invading Latovikia easier, because I have another front to enter from. So, that looks good to me. This is fine to leave here, because in this game, unlike in like EU4, there's no devastation mechanic that I'm aware of. Maybe there is some unrest problem from this, but things are under control just fine. Yeah, actually, let me see here. Nope. Actually, that was assuming control of siege. That's fine. Thebes wants military... What? Thebes? You want military access with me? Why? How? What? I guess I declined it. Okay. Yeah, I didn't give it to them. That's kind of bizarre. I don't know what Thebes wants the military access with me for. Unrest. Okay, hold on. I'm navigate my way through the stupid... Unhappy pops. Okay, yeah, that's helpful. I have a Dere Mestian noble up there. Alright, Beatine Revolt wants... Okay, everyone just wants military... I guess it's because I have a lot of land. They want military access. Seems like a pretty weird reason to... Are you... Am I paying for you? No. Oh, you're just approaching your low pay cap. Okay. That's right. Wait, they don't have an admiral. They don't even approach their cap with low pay. So I guess I'm just getting notified when I decline... I don't think... When I decline military access, I don't need to be notified. That's what's going on here. So let's just have it display in the log and not otherwise tell me about that. If I'm clicking the button, I'm aware that I'm clicking the button. I've tried to set up my notifications to So things that I actively do, I don't need to be reminded about, but things that happen to me, I should be told about. That's like the way that I'm approaching it. I guess I can raise my levy now just to deal with the barbs. Actually, let me raise the levy closer to October 1st. Yeah. I'm not going to have a huge manpower reserve for this war. This will be a multi-year process to build back this manpower. Hopefully I get some events to help it out. But I think it can take on the Greek city-states with minimal... Are they making attrition now? Oh my gosh. Did they run out of food? What happened here? I could also, I guess, pay them off to leave. I'm just going to leave it alone because they're already suffering attrition, so I'm not too concerned. A loyal subject. Our ruler's efforts to influence Gentiana Taulantia are well underway. This is my daughter, I believe. Yeah. In a jovial mood, Gentiana approaches King Glaucia, suggesting that a formal declaration of her loyalty and commitment to the court would be a fine way to show... Oh, okay, I know what this event is. This is the huge political influence event, where I get extra stability and lose loyalty with my super loyal daughter. I mean, getting all this political influence is quite appealing, but I'm actually not in a huge... Actually, no, I am. I can use political influence to found a city. Ooh, we're going to go for it. Heck yeah. 38 stability is okay. We're going to hold off on the law thing for now. I think I want to found my first city. I have the money for it. I have the influence for it right now. And I want to get a port up in the north. And I'm thinking the first location I may found a city, maybe whichever location I think will be my national capital. Because, again, I do want to switch from Epidamnos. Epidamnos is a perfectly fine city. It's just not the best location for my Illyrian capital once I do form Illyria. Now, I think the options are still between Nerona and Trigorian. I do think Ionona should be considered as a possible option as well. It is technically... It's a bit further north, but it is still fairly central in Illyria. Essentially, if you look here... all these capital locations are... all the provincial capital locations are the contenders. I think one advantage of Ionona is it has slightly richer land in its home province. Liburnia has a lot more farmland. It's got 1, 2... Well, I guess Ionona's farmland as well. Actually, I guess it's only got 2 farmland tiles. Because Assyria could be a city, and Burnian could be a city. And Burnian's also on the river, so these are both good city locations. Over here in Dalmatia, Synodian is a farmland as well. And that's as far as that goes. This is all very rough terrain. The other thing, too, is this does have some plains tiles. So Liburnia may make for a better capital province in terms of richer land to work with. I mean, this is Illyria. None of this land is very rich. The Lenton over here for Darcia is also farmland, like Nerona. And Darcia does include these islands, but these are all hills, so not too great there. I think Darcia has the most land of all these different provinces to kind of work with, but I think that Liburnia does have the best land in terms of having a super rich capital province. It might be the hardest to convert. Well, I guess it's going to be just as easy to convert, and I think have the Oh yeah, I should probably check on the colony thing. I mentioned that earlier. Let's see if we can set up a Liburnian colony in Ionona. Hopefully it will have moved now. Yep. Alright, let's go ahead and do that. Ionona, a Taulantian colony. Alright, so we've seen this event before. We all know how this works. I think having just done that, I might now make Ionona my first city. I kind of like the idea of having this be where my first city build is, because it's right on the frontier, and I'm going to be fighting wars up in this area pretty soon, so... Let's go ahead and found a city here now that we have the extra political influence to do that. Alright, so we're going to... It says tear down the settlement buildings, but forts don't count for that. You actually keep your forts. At least I'm fairly sure that's how it works. Yeah, that's definitely how it works. I've played this game a whole bunch. You think by now I'd remember this stuff. It's found a city here in Ionona, and I may make this the capital in the future. I have to have Taulantian culture be dominant there. And I have to have higher loyalty than 15. Holy moly. It's because I was moving the capital around, the provincial capital. I also have to spend political influence, but that may be happening sort of soon. That'd be pretty bold to move the capital over here. Maybe when Glaucius dies, whoever his successor is. Looks like it still will be Talus at the moment, but at this point, who knows, right? It could change, given what's going on. Also, my illegitimate son, Blodos, is here. Let's not forget about him. He's hanging around. Yeah, he's looking really smug about it. But Still no children with Terco. I guess she is chaste, to be fair, but she's been chaste for quite a while. Well, I think the line is fine, because even if it's agnatic primogenitor, I think uncles can still inherit. I don't remember in this game how that works. Maybe I should do something about this. I could anoint Pluritas or Siras to secure this fully. Although that would cost a lot. That's a lot of legitimacy. Although I am trending up on legitimacy anyways, so it wouldn't be a huge problem. Because even though Glaucius has had popularity problems in the past, his legitimacy has never been an issue so far. That would really upset Taulus, though, so I probably shouldn't do that unless things are looking really dire. Okay. Let's keep going. Okay, yeah, so I think Dominant Culture being Taulantian just had to update because Nerona, which I did the colony for in the past, now has that set. Let me check now after November 1st. Yep, Dominant Culture is Taulantian. You just had to get the monthly tick to update it. So now all we need is loyalty here and influence, and I think we will probably make Inona our national capital. Bit of a wild card option, given that I was talking so much about Nerona and Trigorian. I think Inona just makes the most sense, given our options for good provinces for the capital are limited in Illyria in terms of good terrain. Obviously, all these locations are perfectly fine, and all the actual settlements I'm talking about are great locations, but I have to think about the province level, because, of course, the big bonus of your capital province is it has a permanent 100% loyalty, which means I can put a much larger population into that province without the loyalty problems associated, and farmlands in Assyria and Burnian, and also the mountain fort in Splounon being part of the capital province just feels kind of nice, because this will be an important strategic location for this upcoming war. Not that that really matters at all, but I think Inona makes sense. It's also a fairly forward-looking placement, because it also places our capital directly in the upper kind of northern Adriatic, and obviously we're going to have some expansion ambitions around here. This is an important area to control with the Alps blocking this off here, so it just feels right to me to do it like this. And we should also note that the Illyria decision, it doesn't just pick Epidomnos here, it picks your current capital. At least that's my understanding of it. If it does pick Epidomnos, that's fine. I wouldn't be upset with that, because Epidomnos will still be an important city for us, but I think this will switch over once we do move the capital. Plot Betrayal. The sudden and bitter feud between Siras and Bleritas has ended in a violent and unexpected conclusion. The two plotters clearly fell out over some matter, but quite what it was is anyone's guess. Thankfully, this seems to have ceased any further action they were intending to take against us. Oh my gosh, Pleritas has been blinded? Oh, wow. Okay, he is now no longer, my possible heir. That's pretty bad. Yikes, that is unfortunate. Well, I guess this does actually even out his stats compared to Siras. Siras is in mourning. You jackass. Oh my god. Wow. Okay, Siras. I mean, I guess I appreciate it, but come on, man. I feel like you shouldn't play this up too much, Siras. You're cutting it close, buddy. All right. Now, I'm almost tempted to anoint Siras at this point, because that would secure that he's this. I want him to be more of a successor than Pleritas, but I think the succession thing will actually switch because of Pleritas' blindness on the monthly tick. Oh boy, that's just wild. All right, excuse me. They have allied Tilitea, so now we probably couldn't re-ally Dardania if we so wanted. No reason to, honestly. We can find. I think. Let's see here. I think we raise our full levies at 2k each. But we just don't have any manpower in reserves. I think that's the way that works. I always forget how this works with levy size. Let's check this out. Maybe March, we'll raise them in Pekina. That gives us time to clear out the barbs. And then march back. Yeah, these barbs will take attrition, but they're not going to die soon. I just want to get them out of here. They may be causing some loyalty problems here. It's a little hard to tell, because like I've said before, I've commented on this a couple times, province loyalty and like Papa and happiness is one of the most dense and unreadable webs of modifiers interacting with modifiers in this game, and it's so hard to tell what's causing what, and you can always tell that there is a problem, but knowing where the problem stems from and how to fix it, that's not so easy. So let's raise the levy in Pekina in March, and then just walk over and clear out the barbs, assuming their morale will be full, which I think it should be. Actually, I can just raise the levy for Macedon. I don't need to raise the Illyrian levy, now that I think about it. I think I'd rather raise the Macedonian levy. Yeah, because I can raise the Illyrian levy later on site, as it were. Alright, let's do that now. Yeah, so they do start with 2k, so yeah. This is what I thought happened. So your levy always has 2k by default. This manpower pool is just your extra manpower that the levy draws from. It's like withdrawing from the bank as it uses up its manpower. So let's just, 86% should be fine. Let's just walk over, clear these guys out, and we should be in the clear. Alright, up you go. We're at basically full. Yeah. Quote-unquote imminent battle, or quote-unquote unclear. It's not a quote-unquote imminent battle. It is definitely an imminent battle. But this should be totally fine. I think this is just, I think it's just... Actually, hold on. Why is the terrain to their... We have the fort, right? We're the defender? Yeah. Okay, I should just stop trusting those little icons, because they seem to not be very reliable. Anyways, we got some money from that, so that's pretty good. We killed a pop. It's been distributed as a slave into the nether, so that's great for them. I think at this point we should probably get this force on the march. How soon can we get? Probably Lissos. Let's go to Lissos and we'll pick up from the ships. Actually, I think I'll actually lower my levy. Yeah, I'm going to be really peaceful here. Let's lower the levy and go back to this. My thought process here is I'm actually going to not even raise the levies until October 1st. Because I kind of want to wait to see what happens with the Lato-Bician War. Of course, Iapodia won't be involved in my war against Chersos, but I'm going to be nearby, so I kind of want to see how things change. Things are kind of progressing here, so no need to rush. I want to get my manpower back anyways. Oh, also, I have enough political influence now to do the law change. Let's go ahead and do that now. Now, I could change to something else. I don't need to change to Agnatic Cognatic, but of all the options here... So, if you didn't know, I was talking about this earlier, primogenitor means only male children inherit, and it's always the eldest male child available of the current monarch. So that's the default. Agnatic Cognatic allows female children to succeed, but it doesn't place them ahead of male children. So you still have the elder males children inherit, and if you have no males left, you then switch over to females, and then you go down by age. So this is the better option of the two. Seniority is a big gamble, because essentially it makes the eldest male family member win, even over sons. So this would allow for uncles. But this could also result, as it says here, in huge webs of rivalry and myriad claimants. This basically cracks open the succession system from a single nuclear family dynamic into the entire house being involved in the succession, and it becomes a huge mess. And basically, use this one at your own risk. I don't really like this one in this game. I think it can be pretty fun in CK3 sometimes. Actually, was it in CK3? Maybe I'm thinking about CK2. I don't remember, but seniority is definitely risky. So use this only if you have like a family with like 100,000 daughters and you just can't get any sons. I guess actually even then Cognatic would be better. If you have one single character with no children and no way to get more children, this might be called for. But elective succession is interesting. I believe this one you elect between claimants, which would make sense, but I don't remember how this one determines the claimants, if this includes females or not. I'd want Cognatic because I want females to be valid. I mean, that's generally a good goal, but... And then familial marriage, this is the cursed one, which I don't recommend. This one lets you have sibling marriage, and you just get Ptolemaic, as it were. So let's switch over to Agnatic Cognatic. I don't really want to be too experimental here. This is the tried and true system. Female rulers will probably have penalties because Taulantian culture will be patriarchal, but I'd rather have a female ruler with some sort of malice than have my game end. So let's go for that. I guess I could go for seniority just to see what happens, because that'd be kind of interesting. Let me read this more carefully. It's patrilineal succession, in which the reigning monarch's younger brothers are higher in the order than the sons. Okay, so it's not full seniority, because in some of these games, full seniority extends to all household members. This one just allows for the brothers to be in the line as well. This actually would be handy if Taulus were the king, because Taulus has no kids, and he also has brothers. But it being the older brother may not always be better. That being said, having it be the eldest son or the eldest child may not always be better either. This will just make the entire family on multiple generations be claimants together, and that will definitely cause internal trouble, especially as the Taulanted family gets larger. So I think we'll just stick with Agnatic Cognatic. Let's not mess around with seniority if we don't know what we're doing here. We have a good thing going. Let's not screw it up. Agnatic Cognatic. Yeah, we should be fine. Alright, did I drop below? Okay, I can be above 20 stability, not 25, so we're totally fine there. Okay. Looking good. Let's resume. Okay, Liburnia is now upset at me. What's the issue? Not entirely sure what the issue is over here. I'll switch this over to local autonomy, because I definitely don't want this province to rebel. This is going to be the capital province. Rebellion is not allowed over here. Yeah, we got to get its loyalty under control. That should be fine, though. Once we have 10, we'll switch this over. Drought. A particularly harsh year has led to a drought in the province of Darcia, withering the crops and leading to food shortages across the area. Local officials are begging for our support to avert a crisis. It will not be cheap, but we may be able to import extra supplies and address the worst of the starvation. I think I'd like to get some loyalty in Darcia. That seems like a good call. I definitely don't want this modifier, so let's say it is our responsibility. The state will do what the state is here to do. Heck yeah. Darcia loves me. What's the issue exactly? Actually, I have a lot of disloyalty problems all of a sudden. Again, it's like, I just want to know what has changed to cause all this disloyalty everywhere. My war exhaustion is coming under control. Like, what's the problem? Oh, it's probably stability. Oh, yeah, that's what it is. It's stability. Well, it's fine. Getting our succession addressed before there's a succession crisis is more important than a little bit of unhappiness nationally. For a few months, our stability crawls back up. We could always, what's it called, do... divine set. I guess we can't. We don't have the political influence for it. That's fine. We'll just chill on that. Skordiskia has a claim on Dindaria. Okay. You can fight me if you want to. You have to get through Resetia first. You goofball. Yeah, I'll leave that alone. I'm also thinking, was the Resetia fort better than the Pekina fort? I think so. Even though Pekina is a mountain location, I'm now realizing that, yeah, mountain forts may not be my best defensive fighting terrain. And having a fort that you want to fight in is one of the main things with forts. Because, of course, a fight in a fort is always a defensive fight. So the Hills fort here in Resetia is ultimately the better approach. So I'm happy with the decisions I've made in my life, he says wistfully. Sorry for the slightly lower energy episode today. I just woke up earlier, but I feel like we've had a pretty good episode here. It's been pretty successful. Things are looking up for us here in Taulantia, and just in general, happy to see the progress we've made. I want to get to the 1st of October before I end the episode here. So that's a really natural stopping point before we launch into our invasion of, or until we launch into our preparation for our invasion of Chersos and whatnot. We're not going to be ready, of course, with our forces, but I wanted to give myself until the 1st of October just to get that war exhaustion. And it's now basically under control. Things are looking basically fine. And we'll be able to, on the 1st of October, start next episode with the beginning of a march to war. Alright, here we go. I think I'll probably call Apollo a second time. I guess I could go for Hera right now for the provincial loyalty. Let me actually see if that makes sense. This is just from stability. This would actually help in Liburnia, but I'm also going to switch Liburnia now over to local autonomy. Yeah, that takes care of it. This will only go up at this point. That will stabilize things. I think 0.04 isn't good enough to justify compared to extra 10% manpower recovery speed, so I'm going to call on Apollo a second time. That looks good to me. And we're going to call it here for this episode. Thank you so much for watching this very triumphant episode of the Taulantia Campaign. Despite being a regional power before the Second Oxbyoan War, gaining this peace deal doing this peace deal and gaining this territory makes it very apparent on the map that we are now definitely a local power, or a regional power, not even a local power, a regional power to be contended with. And things are looking up for us. We are on track to get our decision land as we need to. Korokin is coming up soon. And then Clondate and Segestica are next. Probably, again, the goal is before 470, we are going to be clicking that For Malaria button and getting all those claims on the rest of the territory and putting ourselves in a really good position to then do a bit of turtling, build up our integrated culture presence all across Illyria, make our new capital province, something worth having be our capital province, and just in general getting ready to clear things out. Because one thing as well to note is the Formularia decision will give us a claim on Apollonia, which may or may not, I guess actually they're not allied with Epirus now, so that will be helpful. So all that being said, thank you so much for watching this episode of the Taulantia Campaign. I will see you all next time.